My girlfriend got drunk at a work party and said something to her coworkers that I'll never forget. I was sitting in the hotel lobby, waiting to pick her up like I'd done plenty of times before. I wasn't expecting much, just a slightly tipsy version of her needing a ride home. Instead, I got a front row seat to the most humiliating moment of my life. She was up on mezzanine with a drink in her hand, laughing with her coworkers. I heard her voice float down over the rail. "He's probably already here, waiting like a puppy." They all laughed. Then she said, "He's so obsessed with me. I could cheat on him in front of his face, and he'd blame himself for not being good enough." They laughed harder. I sat there, stunned, invisible. One of the coworkers, another woman, said something about how at least I had money, and Sophia, my girlfriend, laughed again. "The house is nice, but he's not exactly rolling in it. You should see how he tracks every penny in his little notebook. It's pathetic. That notebook, it's how I built my construction company from the ground up. It's how I stayed afloat through rough patches, how I bought the house she was living in, for a fraction of what she'd pay anywhere else. That discipline she mocked was the foundation of the life we shared. I didn't even feel angry, just hollow. 3 years together, and that's how she talked about me. I sent her a text. "Don't bother coming down. Find another ride." Then I blocked her and left. When I got home, I called my buddy Mike, who's a lawyer. I explained everything and asked what my options were. She'd lived with me for over 2 years, so even without a lease, she had tenant rights. That meant I had to handle everything by the book. 30 days written notice, no changing locks, or dumping her stuff on the curb, no matter what she said or did. I didn't like it, but I wasn't about to create legal trouble for myself. So I spent the next couple of hours writing a formal notice for her to vacate and planning how to separate our lives. She got home around 1 a.m., makeup smeared, still in her party dress. "Why did you leave me stranded?" she asked. "Why did you block me?" I had to get a ride from Kevin. I stood up, handed her the notice, and told her I'd heard everything she said upstairs. "You got 30 days to find a new place," I said. "This is official." Her expression changed rapidly. Confusion, then realization, then panic, then anger, then a final grasp at manipulation. "Baby, no," she said. "I was drunk. It was just stupid talk. I didn't mean it." I didn't respond to her reaching out. I stepped back and told her I was sleeping in the guest room and that I'd help her pack whatever she needed in the morning. The rest she could take later during the notice period. She started crying, trying to follow me, but I shut the door and locked it. She cried and pleaded to the door for a while. Tried to call me over and over again. I silenced my phone and stayed quiet. The next morning, I took the day off and went to Home Depot when they opened, bought a keypad deadbolt, and installed it on the guest room door. That was going to be my space now, a secure place for my important documents and valuables until she left. When she woke up and tried to talk, I cut her off. "You have 30 days. I'll be civil, but we're done. If you want to leave sooner, that's your choice. Take what you need now or come back for it later. I'll be in the guest room until you're gone." She asked, "You're really doing this over one stupid drunk comment?" "It wasn't just a comment," I said. "It was the truth. You showed me exactly what you think of me." She stormed off to get ready for work, probably calling friends to find a place to stay. Before leaving, she made one last attempt to talk things out, but I just repeated myself. Same terms, same timeline. Later that day, I called a security company and scheduled an alarm code change, effective the day her notice would expire. I'm not someone who wears personal business online, but after all the lies she's been spreading about me since then, turning herself into the victim, I figured the truth deserved to be heard. I wasn't obsessed. I was committed. There's a difference. Now I'm just done. I arranged to have all the utilities transferred into my name, and after a 30-day notice period began, I took photos of the house to document its condition, just in case she decided to cause any damage. For the next week, we lived in an uncomfortable truce. She cycled through every emotional tactic. Tears, anger, seduction, guilt, but I stayed calm and unmoved. Eventually, she told me she found a friend to stay with and would be out by the weekend, just 10 days after everything went down. I'll still need to get the rest of my stuff, she said. I can't move it all at once. No problem, I replied. We can set specific times for you to come by. I'll help if you want, or I can stay out of your way. The day she left, I helped load her essentials, clothes, toiletries, electronics, and some of the kitchen stuff she brought when she moved in, into her friend Sarah's car. It was a quiet, tense process. Before getting in the car, she looked at me one last time and said, I really do love you, Marcus. What you heard, that wasn't me. I was drunk. I was just trying to show off to people I don't even care about. I didn't respond to that. I just told her her remaining things were boxed and labeled in the garage. She could text me whenever she wanted to pick them up. After she drove off, I changed the code on the electronic door lock. She still had a physical key to the old deadbolt, but the smart lock would stop her from getting in. I also removed her fingerprint access and changed the alarm code. I kept dated records of all of this in case there were ever legal issues. 3 days passed without a word from her. Curious, I unblocked her number to see if she'd been trying to reach me. What I found was 62 missed calls and a long string of text messages, ranging from furious to pleading. She accused me of ignoring her, begged to talk, threatened to call the police, said she needed her things for work, and claimed she had nowhere else to stay. The latest message said, I know you heard me at the party. I didn't mean it. Please let me explain. I responded with one message. Your belongings are boxed up in garage. Let me know when you want to pick them up. You can come any day this week between 5 and 8 p.m. She replied instantly, Can I come tonight? I told her the garage keypad code was 1234 and that it would work just for that evening. The side door to the garage would be unlocked between 5 and 8. She arrived at 6:30. I stayed inside, watching through the security cameras I'd installed years earlier. She spent about an hour sorting through the boxes, sometimes wiping away tears. Just before she left, she looked directly into the camera and flipped it off. Once her car was gone, I changed the garage code again and locked the door. She had taken almost everything, except for a few shared kitchen items and decorations. The next morning, I called a locksmith. I wasn't afraid she'd break in, but I needed a clean slate. We replaced the locks on both the front and back doors and added a deadbolt between the garage and the house. 2 weeks after she moved out, 20 days before her formal notice period was set to end, I received an email from her confirming that she was voluntarily giving up her tenancy and had taken everything she wanted. I forwarded it to my friend Mike, a lawyer, to confirm it was enough for legal purposes. Since then, she's been spinning her version of the story to anyone who will listen. According to screenshots mutual friends have shared with me, I'm now controlling, financially abusive, and obsessed. She says I threw her out with nothing because I couldn't handle rejection. Here's the truth. I never checked her phone, never asked where she was going, never monitored her spending, and never made her account for her time. I just loved her. I thought we were building a life together. Last night, one of her former coworkers texted me, the same one who had been at the party. She and Sophia aren't talking anymore. Just so you know, she wrote. Sophia's been seeing Kevin from sales, the same guy she was flirting with that night. It's been going on for a while. I felt nothing when I read it. No jealousy. No anger. That's when I realized I was free. Today, I had the place deep cleaned. I threw out the old sheets, rearranged the furniture, and moved any of her remaining mail to a box in case she ever wants it. When a mutual friend asked how I was doing, I replied, never better. The house is quiet, bills are lower, and I don't have someone pretending to love me while laughing behind my back. She said I sounded cold. Maybe I am, but I'd rather be cold than someone's punchline. Here's what I've learned. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I'm not saying I was perfect. No relationship is. But respect isn't optional. The moment I heard her speak about me that night, I knew the relationship was over. I wasn't obsessed with her. I was committed to what I thought we had. There's a difference. And once I understood that what we had was never real to her, leaving wasn't hard. It was necessary. If I blame myself for anything, it's for not seeing the signs sooner. The jokes at my expense, the constant comparisons to her coworkers' boyfriends, the way she'd roll her eyes when I talked about my goals. That's on me. I ignored it because admitting the truth would have been painful. But now I know better. For any guy reading this who might relate, being a good partner doesn't mean letting someone walk all over you. The second someone shows they don't value you, walk away. No drama. No revenge. No begging. Just take your dignity and move on. As for me, work is going well. I'm back at the gym. I reconnected with old friends. My house feels like mine again. And those 62 missed calls? Still unanswered. Some things don't deserve a reply.